Hi guys, welcome to week 5 video. I thought I'd send you a little message to give you a few hints and tips on how to get some good results out there. I want to focus today on emotional preparation and being in the right mindset to go out in field. Now I know it's pretty easy to forget some of the basics that we all covered several weeks ago at sales school, so I thought now is an appropriate time to revisit some of those principles and also look at a few new ones. And I'm sure plenty of you out there are looking for better results and getting more out of your summer. Well, good news is this is the time of the year that all that starts to kick off and things really start to happen. 21 days was about learning the basics and getting all those habits in place. Traditionally, it's this point in the program where results across the board tend to really kind of rocket and take off. So a couple of hints and tips on emotional preparation. One of the things to remember is for you to get the best results out there, you have to look after this thing here, the PME triangle. The most important corner is E, the emotional challenge. So a tip from myself in terms of how I approach the job: before you get out of the car, there's a number of things that you need to have clear in your head. I'd like you to take a pen and paper right now to write a few things down to help you. If you haven't done it before, and now's a really good time to give yourself a heading at the top of that page. What is my purpose in Champions? Because I know, looking at the stats, there are lots of you doing a lot of things right, but there are also plenty of you can improve, as with every year in the past. If you don't clarify your purpose, you're going to end up being bumped around like a pinball in a pinball machine. You don't want people governing your emotions and what happens. Your emotions need to take the lead here, and you need to stay in control of them. You can't be pushed around by other external factors. Remember the fact in the quote: control the controllables. Looking after your mind and your emotions is a controllable. So first of all, that's what I'd start with. What's your purpose here at Champions? Well, it's a number of things, and it means a number of things to different people. But your purpose going out there, you are a fundraiser first and foremost. You have a purpose, and the definition that I use is to do a damn good job at showing people and revealing the benefits of the charity you work for. If you've never written that down before, then scribble it down now, because you need to look at this every day to remind yourself of what you're doing. Secondly, beyond that initial purpose, you need to clarify some of your headline goals. Now, some of you have done that great, and that's awesome. Some of you haven't at all. And you want to start at the beginning of the day. It could be this morning. It could be the beginning of any day. But you need to make a couple of key commitments to yourself, and these need to go in your tracking book. What 2 things are you going to promise to do? What promise are you going to make to yourself? Now, that could be a number of different things, but ultimately it's got to mean something to you. If it means, for example, promising that you're going to expect a show at every single door, then write that down and make a commitment, because if you stick by that today, trust me, you will see the difference. And I know a number of you are going out there, you've lost your purpose, and you're not necessarily thinking of the things that get you in the right mindset. What else gets me in the right mindset? Before I go out knocking, I write down other reasons I'm part of the program. What is it I want to get out of the summer? Why am I putting myself through challenges? Well, ultimately, as Alex Mary said at the beginning at sales school, going out in the field is a lot like going to the gym with your mind. Putting yourself through the challenges is the point. So if you're experiencing challenge and you're experiencing hardship, or things aren't necessarily going your way every minute of the day out in the field, great, embrace that. You need a bring it on attitude. You need to embrace the fact that there's a challenge out there. And today, at the beginning of the day, is no exception. You're going to get the chance to grow and develop and get better. What's the one thing you want to be asking yourself when you head home at the end of the day, before we talk about the day itself? It's answering one question: what have I learned in the field today? Now, I want to ask you the question: how many of you are genuinely doing that on a regular basis? Don't think many of you are. Yet, every day is far beyond just getting long-term donors and getting results. It's answering the question, what have I learned today? So firstly, what's my purpose? Scribble that down. As I said, the definition is to do a damn good job at showing and revealing the benefits of the charity you're working for to people. That's it. So when you get out of the car, you've got to remember a few things. You're about to do the approach. And you're going to do the approach to a number of people. You're going to meet some awesome people every day. But ultimately, when you do the approach, you need to remember what is the purpose of the approach. Because I know that a lot of you are putting pressure on yourselves, going out there thinking, must get long-term donors, must get long-term donors, results, results, results. You've got to focus on what it takes to make a sale, not making sales itself. Again, if that means something to do, and it makes sense to you, write that down. If it means something to you. Beyond that, you've recognised the definition of sales is a transference of feelings. So if you're going out there feeling anything other than anticipation and excitement towards what you're about to do, you're not going to share that excitement and enthusiasm with people you meet. You're going to get worried people. You're going to get people opening the door, suddenly frowning at you. So remember that. The definition of sales is a transference of feelings. So looking after your emotions and getting yourself in the right mindset before you step into the ring is really, really, really important. When I read about famous people, sportsmen, Muhammad Ali talks about how the fight is won or lost months and weeks at least before you get into the ring. It's no different. The day can be won or lost before you go out there based on your mindset. So sorting that out is really, really important. In addition to answering those questions, what your purpose is and what you're going to go out and what your promise is, remember the purpose of the approach. And what is it? It's just to get the show. Are you selling anything at the door? No. Are you looking for buying signals at the door? No. Take the pressure off and remember, it's not about that. So remember, recapping on the hand, this is all familiar with you, but again, you need to make sure you go over the basics on a regular basis, because otherwise you're going to go off track. The hand, voice inflection, words, eye contact, smile, and in addition to that, body language. Voice inflection, key word that sums this up, assumptive. If you're not expecting to get the show, you'll be hearing that in your voice, and so will the people listening to you, and they'll shut the door straight away. In addition to that, you've got smile. You smile a third of the time you think you do. So every time you're out there going, I'm feeling great, look at yourself in the mirror, check, because a third of the time you're smiling, the rest of it you're not. In addition to that, the words, reread that script if you haven't looked at it recently, because I know for sure there'll be a number of words that you'll be changing, tweaking, and getting wrong. And as I said, if you're a professional, you go over the basics on a regular basis. In addition to that, you've got eye contact. Now you understand that if someone's going to trust you, you can't be flicking all over the place, looking randomly at different parts of the door frame or anything else like that. It's not going to work. In addition to that, now where did I get to? Body language. 3 steps back, side profile. A tip when you're at the door, often I'm looking up in the sky. I find looking up helps my mood and everything else. It means Mr. M ain't anywhere near me. I'm knocking him completely off my shoulder. So all those points make up a decent approach. But when you remember, take the pressure off. You're not looking to get sign-ups at the door. Another thing, if you're struggling to smile, what I do, it helps. I imagine the person that is opening the door to be completely butt naked. It sounds nuts, but it gets me chuckling, it gets me laughing. And how many times over the last few weeks have you noticed if you get someone laughing at the door, boom, the stranger barrier is completely down. Now there are 2 principles that I want to share with you, and I remember sharing this with a few people at sales school, but it wasn't with everyone. So if you take this on board, it's going to have a big impact on what you're going to do out there. But it's to do with your mindset and your expectation. First and foremost, the approach is about getting the show, nothing more. Now, top performers in the past programs I've worked with have something in common. A, they recognise that your mind is a muscle and you've got to look after it. You've got to gear it with plenty of ammo and make sure you're in the right mindset. And there's two principles that you can stand by that are going to help with your assumption and your attitude that every single door is a potential show. Now, first and foremost, everyone that lives in the UK and has a roof over their head is able to afford to support the charity. The cost to them is what, £2 a week? 30p a day? It's absolutely nothing. So whether they choose to sign up or not ain't going to be based on whether or not they can afford it. It's based on how excited they get about the charity that you're talking about. Now, sales being a transference of feelings, that's down to you. That's good news, which means if you understand that, you'll realise that everyone you speak to and meet at the door is a potential supporter. Now, secondly, not only can they afford it, but if you remember the purpose of the approach is to get the show. And you want to ask yourself the question right now, and if you need to, write it down. Is it, or is it not, going to benefit everyone you see to find out a little bit about the charity you're talking about? And the answer to that is obviously yes, because they're going to learn something. They're going to benefit because they're going to find out a little bit about issues out there and also problems that a charity might solve. Are you looking for them to sign up? No. But if you do a really good job, they'll get enthusiastic enough and they'll want to sign up. And that's how you get results. Because at the end of the day, they pick up the pen, they pick up their card, they pick up the sign-up form, and they fill out the details. You don't need to push that on anyone. You just need to do a good job out there. So just to recap, you need to be going out with purpose. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't act like an idiot being pushed around and wishy-washy about why you're there and what your purpose is. In addition to that, clarify logically why everyone's a potential supporter, and that will help your attitude at the door and your assumption, expecting the show at every door. And also, are they going to benefit or not by hearing about the charity? It's yes to both of those. Therefore, unless someone's walking out the door as you're approaching the front door and the driveway, they're there, they've got 5, 10, 15 minutes to spare, and that means that 9 out of 10 people could potentially be a supporter. Now, one more thing. Obviously, even when you've got a great approach at 1 in 6, 1 in 7, you're still going to hear 6 no's to every 1 yes at the door. So get used to that and understand that this job is about hearing rejection. Top performers and average performers and poor performers all get different results on different days regardless of where they work, but their results are consistent. The reason for that is it's down to you. It's down to how you approach